Samuel, welcome to the Closing Authority podcast, my friend. How you doing?
Very well, mate. Pleasure to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing extremely well. I'm really excited to dive into today and to talk about your experience that you've been having, man. It's been a journey. It's been a bit of a journey, hasn't it?
It absolutely has. Yeah, I think just over 12 months now in remote sales. Never looking back. Never looking back, that's for sure.
Well, look, today is going to be just about talking about yourself, your experience, kind of your journey throughout the high ticket space, especially since we connected along that journey. But for people who don't know you, who were you before you got into high ticket sales?
Yeah, so I guess to kind of strip it back right to the beginning, I grew up just in the south of Birmingham. Not in the greatest area, I would say, to really grow up in. I was a bit of a troubled young man, always trying to find the right path. And that didn't happen till I found sales. I was a gas engineer for 10 years prior,
Wow.
and I was never happy. You know, I was always working 9 till 5, losing my job and just never being happy. And then I came into the remote sales space about, like I said, about 12 months ago now through, a mutual friend of ours. And I could always see things going on. Like, what is he doing? How is he living in Bali? Like, what's going on here? And it made me really reach out to him. And yeah, that's kind of where the journey really started to unfold.
And that's kind of where we started to connect, right? Can you walk me through what was the spot you were at just before you and I met, just to
Yeah.
kind of give a bit of context?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously I kind of burnt the boat, so to say, left my gas job, moved to Bali, right? And whilst I was in Bali, I got enrolled into one of the biggest fitness offers in the space. Obviously won't drop any names. I think we can all kind of guess who it would be. And I kind of took to it like a duck to water. I was doing really, really well. Within 2 months of working on the fitness offer, I was made a captain of a team. I had 5 sales reps working under me, but it was never what I wanted in terms of the end result in sales. I was probably working 10 to 12 hour days sometimes every day in Bali, work till 5 a.m. And don't get me wrong, the money could be good. Some 10K months, we was doing all right. It was a good start, but I was burning out. I was burning myself out. I was working late nights. It was making me ill. And then I pretty much met you. I met you at the Bali Brotherhood, I do believe, which was
It's a
a
good place.
men's group. A great place. A great place. And what was mad with remote sales is like the networking. I went to
Mm.
Bali and everyone seemed to be in remote sales. And that's obviously how I came across yourself. And then yeah, we ended up working together, didn't we, mate? I needed some help to spread my wings and find a high ticket offer.
And what was that moment for you, I guess, where you realized you needed to make a change?
I think I made myself sick in Bali a couple of times in a short amount of time. And I was working every single day, really long hours, late at night. And then when you hear these other sales reps, maybe, working half the amount of time for twice of the money, naturally, I always, you want to try and replicate that, right? You want to try and follow them footsteps. So that's kind of how it began, how I come to you and how I decided I need to do more here.
And we're going to get into the details of kind of like what that journey looked like to make that transition into a true high ticket offer. But just to kind of give a little bit of juice, a little bit of meat for the people watching, what were you making, say, the month we met, and what have you made now after working together?
So the first month we met, I think I did pretty well where I started working with you on Committed. I think we done a 10K month,
Yeah.
right? But then we made that transition after obviously a couple months of being enrolled into the new offer. I broke their record in October with a 44% close rate, taking home 20K in a month, obviously USD. But yeah, it was completely different, man, because I was working 2 or 3 hours a day as opposed to 10 to 12 hour shifts.
And you had actually taken some time, right? Where you went away from Bali, you weren't having to grind the nighttime hours anymore, and you went over to Europe and you were, back, you spent a little bit of time at home, and then you went to Spain. So while you were doing the 20K month, can you walk me through where you were actually based? Because I think a lot of people love that idea. I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, so I had to leave Bali to come back to the UK because I got a new offer on American hours, right? And obviously working American hours in Bali wasn't serving me justice, making me ill, working late nights, etc. So we came back to came back to the UK, sorry, just to realign the time zones. But then going back to the childhood place where I was raised, that environment, it was very clear I had to get out of there as soon as I could. So the plan was to pop home with the missus, and then we ventured off to Spain. So we ended up moving to Spain, just outside of Malaga, and yeah, that's where I went to obviously take on the new role. So we moved to Spain, and everything just went perfectly. To be quite clear, yeah.
Well, yeah, you smashed out a 20K month and you got to work a quarter of what you were working on the lower ticket offer.
Yeah, it was a drastic change, and also like dealing with different types of prospects. That was the beautiful thing. I said when I was in the fitness space, I would love to work in AI. I want to sell AI. That feels like the next logical project to be involved in across the world, right? So yeah, manifestation's a beautiful thing, my friend, and with yourself applying for offers, really scrubbing up that interview process, we managed to land it.
100%. And you had every reason, though, if we get really real, you had every reason not to make a change, right? You were already working with another coach and things were not going bad by any means. They weren't maybe going as well as you wanted them to be and what you're doing now, but they weren't bad. I'm curious, what was it that actually made you want to take that leap and come over to the closing authority?
Taking that leap, like, especially with yourself, Liam, I was a big fan of your podcast before. You've done some great interviews with the likes of Adam, Matt Ryder, etc. And I really understood with sales that a huge part of doing well in sales is your network, right? We all know your network is your net worth. Something I was always very good at when I was younger was just, making contacts, traveling places, making friends. And I really saw in you that you're quite a prime networker, I would say, in the sales space, Liam. Like, you got some great contacts, and I knew that I had to, kind of scrub up that side of my game to be able to progress to a better offer and to something that could get me to the next level.
No, your network is huge, man. It's I think it's something that gets super underutilized, right? Or people go about it in a really cheesy, weird way, where it's like, "Hey, bro, can I buy you a coffee?" Or "Can I buy you a virtual coffee?" Or "Do you mind if we connect?" And it gets a little bit cringy. And like, there's a good way to do networking and there's a bad way. But one of the best ways I feel is having some form of an introduction, right? If you want to talk to someone and I know them, it's better for me just to put you in contact and be like, "Hey, I think you two should have a chat." Now there's a reason for that conversation to happen. You're more likely to actually have the conversation, right? Than if you were to cold approach. And I know that's what we
100%.
started to do right off the bat. It was just like, let's get you having some of these conversations. Let's get you just around the right people because you were good. Like, you were a diamond with a little bit of specks on you that needed to be cleaned up, sure. But it was more you were in the wrong vehicle.
That's it, right? The most important thing is who you're working with, not even sometimes how hard you're working. Don't get me wrong, I've never been shy of hard graft. I was a pot washer when I was 14. I had to do all the shit jobs when I was younger, so getting on the phone and chatting to someone, bro, I could do this all day. Like when you got some people moaning about doing long hours in the sales space, I think they need a reality check sometimes. You do need to work hard, right? But
Yeah.
then leading off from that, of course, that hard work in the long run should get you better opportunities where actually you're being paid to be more clinical and for your experience as opposed to volume, right? It should be quality over volume. So yeah, that was definitely the next step. And also, obviously, we're both men of church, right? I think one thing that really drew me to you, Liam, was obviously your integrity. You're a man of God. And that kind of alignment really, really kind of just made me feel safe with you, made me feel like this guy has got my best interest at heart. So that was a massive reason why I came over to Closing Authority as well.
And what surprised you the most, right? When you actually got inside the program, you actually started working with me. What kind of was that first thing you're like, wow, that's not what I expected?
I would say, I mean, kind accountability was a huge thing that I needed. You know,
Yeah.
like sometimes maybe I can be sensitive with my approach. I like people to speak to me straight, but also, there's obvious we've all got a bit of ego we have to deal with. So it was about you recognizing my flaws and helping me to overcome that and challenging me when needs be. Right. And aside from that, I just think, like the vast information on your network, the people you were doing work with. I know you was working with Brooke for a little while, doing some stuff on that side, and there was a lot of moving parts. It was very refreshing to see kind of different environments that you would put your sales training across to. And yeah, I think that was really refreshing for me to come over to you, like them kind of.
Inside of it, right? I guess the accountability side, it's huge, right? I'm a big believer that like that's half the job as a sales coach. Like, yes, you need to get the skill set, but like, man, you just need to hold someone to the fire so they do what they know that they know that they know they should be doing.
Yeah, for
And I
sure.
guess for you, having that accountability and having someone, I know there's some conversations where it was like, I canceled our sessions last minute. If you were 10, 15 minutes late, I was like, bro, that's not accountability. Like, no,
Yeah.
we got to go to it. Right. And then I started to see you change. And I think you're like the level of accountability I see from you now, it's been amazing to watch you grow over this time. Like it genuinely has. And I'm really happy for you. But I'm curious, how has that changed your life outside of just sales, having a bit more of that accountability in your life?
Yeah, for sure. It's given me more confidence in
Mm,
my own ability. I always doubted myself because I would let myself down on my own word, right? But if you can keep your own word to yourself and keep you accountable, that gives you a new level of confidence because you understand it. You will do what's required, right? And you will do what's needed to do. So I think that comes with more quiet confidence. I think when I was younger, especially when I was a bit of a boisterous lad, I used to have the fake confidence to be really loud and try and drown people out because, probably scared inside, right?
mm.
But the more accountable you are to yourself, I genuinely believe that gives you the quiet confidence, okay, like that humble confidence. So that's fed into all of my relationships. That's fed into how I might react to people. And don't get me wrong, not perfect, mate. Still on this
None of us
journey.
are.
You know what I mean? Of course, but no, it's nice to feel like I have more control of myself and my destiny because I know when I need to rely on myself, I will be there.
100%. 100%. And let's let's talk about where you're at the moment, right? Like what over the last actually no. Let's go back a minute, right? To when we were making that transition because that was a huge piece. That was a huge piece of why we were working together was helping you transition from, the offer that realistically it's not a bad place, but it wasn't aligned with who you wanted to be,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't the version of you that you saw in the future, right? It was almost like an alternate version. It's like it's not a bad version, but it's not who I know Samuel can ultimately be if I'm stepping into
Mhm.
my future self, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's walk through that process a little bit. Like, what did that actually feel like and look like to make that transition?
I think first of all, I needed somebody that believed I was ready to make that step.
Mm,
Okay, so giving me kind of, I don't want to say like you did it for me because of course I did it for myself, but just
100%.
to have somebody to say no, you can make this step and to actually map that out and give you like a timeline and exactly actionable steps that needed to be executed in order to get to that place, that was really helpful for me, Liam. And loves with your calm approach, unpacking my mind and actually just looking at, right, here's the picture here. If we're going to get from A to B, we need to do X, Y, Z. Okay. That really allowed me to build that confidence in myself and be able to take that to the next level for sure.
And it was pretty quickly that we started to, put you in front of some pretty big offers, right? Like it wasn't a long period of time before you were having interviews with, well, I'll let you tell them. But like those were some big boy offers that were on the table in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was daunting. It was very, very daunting. And this is where I think authenticity has to shine, right? You
Sure.
have to be yourself. I feel like there's so many sales reps in the space right now just trying to copy somebody's energy and copy somebody's ethos. People genuinely just want somebody good to talk to. Right? They want to have a good conversation. They have to trust you, themselves, and the product, of course. And there's loads of variables in between. But people
Of course.
forget to just, be a good person to chat to, right? So authenticity had to come in. And I was very scared when applying for these big offers because
You were terrified.
naturally you're going to doubt yourself. But I don't think it took long, right? And we had I think we did like 3 interviews and got like 2 job offers straight away.
Yep.
We took one in the AI sales space, trading offer, AI trading. I'm not going to name any names.
What was the OTE on that offer, though? Let's walk through that because it was pretty big.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like 10 to 30K a month, right? I think if I'm right, I don't even think 10 was even in the question. I think it was like 20 to 30K OTE.
Yeah.
So straight away, I'm thinking, right, okay, let's go. And I landed the offer. I remember I landed the offer. And we underwent the training. We had 2 weeks of training leading up to the offer. And I'm telling this story now because God works in crazy ways. So
Yes.
Liam helped me land this offer. But unfortunately, and a lot of guys with a high ticket offers might know, lead flow is a huge, huge part of these smaller offers performing well.
Massive.
And I think I was 2 weeks into the training and got let go. Right? I got let go because, to be honest, I hadn't even done a one-to-one role play yet. I knew it was nothing performance-based. It was just like, I haven't got the lead flow here. I want to help you find another role. But when I was out in Bali celebrating getting that offer with my girlfriend, I remember I was in Jade in a nightclub in Bali and talking to a guy in the club. Oh, what do you do, mate? This is the power of sales as well. Obviously, I'm not a remote salesman. Oh, no way. I've got offers. Like, what is it you sell? AI trading. No way. That's what I do. So, a long story short, ended up finding the offer to replace the one I got let go of, which was a completely like for like offer, which in the end I felt so aligned with. And that was just God redirecting me into the right place, I believe. So yeah, it all worked out well in the end.
I think there's something really powerful in that, Sam, because I mean, I've said it and I will continue to say it till the cows come home, is we celebrate the small things in life because they compound into the big things if we let them, right? Now, the whole reason you were out in town, the whole reason you went for that dinner was because you were celebrating the small win. You were celebrating the win of, I got a new job. I have the offer. That is the OTE I've been looking for the last year. And in that moment of celebrating, in that moment of abundance, you met someone that we didn't know on that day, but it ended up becoming your now new offer of where you are.
Yeah, it honestly, it still blows my mind to this day, even to the point of my founders can't quite believe it. And they knew the other offer. And in the end, I think I genuinely was being protected by being let go of that offer. Like you said, celebrating that small win and being sociable, managed to find me that actual place I wanted to work. So yeah, it was a crazy journey, and that's just where the hard work begun, right? Yeah, that was a beautiful moment, mate.
How does life feel different now compared to when we first met?
I mean, I've gone through radical transformation about 2 or 3 times in like the last 2 years to 18 months, I would say.
Yeah.
So when I first got into remote sales, I was like, I can't believe this. I'm in Bali and I'm getting paid more than when I was a gas engineer, but still working long hours, right? Now, like, I genuinely don't feel like I'm trying to sell to people. And I think a lot of people need to hear that quite loudly, because if you're really trying to force a sale on somebody, they will run the other way. So now where I'm working, I can manage my schedule, 2-3 hours day working. The price point that I sell is $20,000. So one sale will get you a $2,000 commission. So of course you do the math, and you only need to do 5 sales a month to hit 10K, right? So the
And
freedom and flexibility. Yeah, go on.
just in that, just for 1 second before we go into the flexibility, how many sales did you used to have to do to make that same 2,000 in commissions?
Jesus. Well, I'd be getting $200 max, really, for each sale. So it'd be 10 sales to get the 2,000. So
The
you'd
right
be wanting to do
vehicle,
3
right?
sales a night. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I just
It's
love
all
that.
about the vehicle.
Continue,
It really is
continue. I just wanted to
crazy.
acknowledge that because that's a huge thing, right? Like a lot of people, they want to make the money and they're doing the work and they're, maybe they're a setter right now or they're a closer on their first offer and it's not very high ticket. It says it is, but it's like 1,000 or 2,000 or $3,000 things, and they think
Yeah.
that they suck at sales, but the reality is they're just in the wrong vehicle and they don't have, like you said before, the belief in themselves that they're ready to make that jump,
Yeah. I
right?
know, and I'd say this, I know pretty bad salesmen making 20 to 30K a month. Not on my offer, but I know pretty bad salesmen out there.
Mhm.
They're in the right place. They're just in the right place. The leads come in warm. So any leads that I take, they have to read a pre-meeting deck. Okay, they already know the price point, and they've already ticked about 10 boxes to say they want to do it. So when they're coming on, they're pretty fresh. We might have fear. We might have logistics. We're going to have objections, right?
Of course.
It's about dealing with that with authenticity and being on their side of the table and trying to help them move through that together. So it's something you've really helped me to do as well, Liam. But yeah, coming back to the flexibility part, like, I'll be honest, I struggled when I had all of this time on my hands. I've never had that much time on my hands. So this is a bit of like making myself vulnerable here. It brought back some bad feelings that I had to conquer because I'm like, I've worked for 1 hour and then I've got the whole day to do what I want. And I'm like, I feel like I'm being lazy. So I had that to contend with. I had a brand that I started, which, hasn't quite gone the way that I wanted. So I was feeling guilty. Like, well, why haven't I made that succeed? So for me, it's just given me the flexibility and time to work on myself more. Okay. I think when you're doing these 10, 12-hour sales jobs, you can quite easily just use that as a crutch, right? I'm an addict, mate. Like, and I've said this, like, I'm an addictive personality. The dopamine that you get off a sale is it's like crack, mate. I mean,
Hard
I've
to
never
match.
done crack, just for the record, but I can imagine it's quite similar. And for me, like, I was using them long hours as a way to mask other problems that I had
Mm,
before. So essentially, I just changed my addiction to sales, which, don't get me wrong, is a much better addiction to have.
for sure.
But then you encounter the vulnerable side. Or if it's not going as well, are you feeling guilty and ashamed that you're not performing? You get all the baggage that comes with it, right? So going kind of back to my point there, yeah, it really just allowed me to look more within, and it
Mhm.
allowed these things to surface and gave me an opportunity to actually face that because I had nothing else to do, right? So it gave me that flexibility as well.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Sam, I suppose for anyone that's watching this that maybe is sitting on the fence, right? Maybe they're brand new to sales and they're just looking to get into the remote space, or they're already in the remote space, but it's just not going what they expected it to go, right? And they're on the fence of working with the closing authority. Well, what kind of advice would you give them?
You just got to jump into it. I mean, procrastinators are never gonna take that next step. You have to take that step. And if you do procrastinate on it and then you do it 2 years down the line, well, then what could have been achieved in that 2 years? I've got so many people that have been looking to get into sales, and then they'll message me about it. And a year later, we have the same conversation. It's like, so you're in exactly the same spot. How are you expecting to get anywhere else if you're not going to make a different type of decision or do something that scares you? So my advice, Liam, would be, what have you got to lose at the end of the day? What's the worst that could happen? Worst and best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you go back to your old job, right?
Mhm.
Best case scenario is Liam will get you to where you want to be. That would be my advice.
Beautiful. Well, Sam, I really appreciate you jumping on, man. I know the future is looking bright for yourself. It's been really cool. Like, we just caught up the other day, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but you're making a beautiful transformation right now. You know, you're pretty honest just a minute ago about having all that time back. It's brought up some old feelings that you've had to start to deal with, right? Some of these old patterns that maybe were in life. And the jump I see you making right now, man, is you're going from a place of survival to a place of abundance, right? And that's a jump not many men ever actually make in their life. Most men, and it doesn't matter about the amount in the bank account, doesn't matter how much you're making. That sense of survival is where you feel like you need to grind every second of every day and you can't actually enjoy life, right? Like, that is
Hmm.
survival. You find the things that always have to be fixed even when everything's all right.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
abundance, it allows you to just sit, be present, having a good time, hanging out in Spain and enjoying the beautiful surroundings while making 20 grand, working a quarter of what you used to, right? And like, I just want to encourage you as you continue to go forward, just to accept that. Accept that's the transition that you're making, is from a place of survival where day to day, week to week, month to month, you're stressing, to a place of abundance where, bro, you've done incredible. Like, you have absolutely changed your life. And yes, I was there and I helped, but like, you put in the hard work. And just remember that that keeps stacking. And now it's about finding the new balance of what does Sam want to do each day, not just how can Sam grind his ass off. Yes, you have a work ethic like no other, but also figure out the balance of why you're doing it and where you truly want to go, because that's what's going to set the abundance free.
100%. And I really want to touch actually on survival, like you said there, because for about most of my life, I was completely in survival mode. The reason I set up my brand, Zenful Men, was to try to get me and other men out of survival mode, right?
Mhm.
But we was attacking the surface, not quite getting to the root. And I just want anybody, anyone watching this, to understand that you 100% can take that next step, whether it be in sales with yourself, whether it be anything that's in the back of your mind. You have to take that leap. People look at me now, bro, and actually think that I come from money, and it makes me piss. Like, honestly, like, anybody that knows me growing up knew the council house I grew up in, knew, I grew up with a single mother who worked her arse off to do everything for me, and we never had food in the cupboards. Our power would just go off, you know,
Mhm.
all the time. Sam, you need to go up the shop, put £5 on the electricity meter. Like, people have no idea. They look at me now and they just do not see that journey. Yeah, like, I was pushing against a brick wall and getting nowhere for 10 years. And then as soon as I found the vehicle that was right for me, that I could make work, it will come. All of the blessings, everything will come. Be grateful for it and understand that you are the only person in control of your destiny. Like, we are so lucky to have the opportunities that we have now, and people overlook that, and they would rather point the finger and blame everybody else for their downfall rather than take responsibility. One thing I would always do, I would always hold my hands up when I'm swearing a lot on this, mate. I hope it doesn't mind.
You're all right, mate. It's the
Whenever
authenticity.
I fucked up, yeah, I'll put my hands up. You have to take accountability, man. You have to
100%.
understand that only you can take you to that next step. And you have to ask for help. That's the other thing. I'm so grateful for what you've done for me, brother, and I genuinely mean that, with your genuine direction and advice. And don't be scared to ask for help. Don't ever not believe that you could get to that end result. Take accountability for it, put together a plan, and help somebody to do that with you.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been great. I can't wait to do this again when we've cracked the 30 and 40K months, because I know it's coming soon. But
Let's go, baby.
for everyone that's listening, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And like Sam said, if you're sitting on the fence, there ain't nothing to do it but to do it. All right? You got to make the jump.
Exactly.
Life doesn't change until you do. So thanks for listening. Hope you
100%.
enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.